Today's an exciting day for South Texas. Today's an exciting day for Spurs fans and family. We're welcoming back LaMarcus, who has been a big part of his life in Texas, and we're very excited to welcome LaMarcus Aldridge to the Spurs family.
I'm excited to be here. I've always felt like this was home. Playing here has, always been fun for me, and I think they can tell, by my numbers. So I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to be a part of this great organization, a part of a winning tradition, and I try to make history here.
Marcus, what was it about San Antonio that ultimately you made the decision to come here?
A lot of things. The organization is first class, from RC, to every player, a winning tradition. They've, always been in the mix, whether they have, big names or not, whether Tim was 100 or a 99, they've always won with them. And, just being close to my family. I think this is a great opportunity to win, and be at home. So, I'm here now.
LaMarcus, we've read a lot from afar about how you kind of idolized him growing up. Could you go into more detail with that?
First of all, why is that mic so big? Jeez.
Dan's ego needs a big mic.
That's how they do it here with the Spurs. They leave nothing uncovered to chance or anything.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Go ahead, though.
Just your relationship, basically you've always kind of idolized him from afar. We've read a lot about that, but now that you're here and getting the chance to play with the guy that you modeled your game after?
It's going to be fun for me because, everything that you hear about Tim is first class. You hear that he works hard. He tries to get better every year, even though he's, done the imaginable, as far as winning championships and playing at a high level, even though he's so old. To play with him is going to be awesome for me just to, try to learn a few things from him and, try to get better, while I'm with him and, try to make his life easier and vice versa. So I'm looking forward to the challenge of, playing with him.
How influential was he on your decision to come here, and were you surprised he participated? Usually he kind of disappears for the summer.
Yeah, he was a big part. I think anytime you have opportunity to learn, from the best power forward to play the game, I think, that's priceless. So he was huge in my decision, and I was definitely shocked, when he, played a part in it, whether it was calling me, or coming to California or anything like that. I felt like he was involved in it, and I think that showed, how much he wanted to play with me also. So, I thought that was priceless.
It was reported that you had a second meeting after the first pitch meeting, just with Greg Popovich. What kind of reassurances were you looking for in that second meeting?
It wasn't about, a reassurances. I think it was just, Pop's a great person, and I think he values, FaceTime and, just having that human, touch. So I think he wanted to come back down and talk face-to-face and, not talk over the phone. I think he felt like, things could be better face-to-face. So he came down, and I thought, when he came back down, all of our conversations went great, and, now I'm here.
LaMarcus, was David Robinson a little bit too old for you, or are you too young to remember him?
No, I know him, and Avery Johnson and all those guys, yeah.
Yeah. What about, they basically had a Hall of Fame center power forward for 26 straight years, and you're stepping into that lineage, and how do you view that, and what that means?
I think it's first of all, it's a honor to even be, in this organization. I think they keep first-class players all the way around, so to be in that caliber feels good. And I'm not, trying to, be David Robinson, be Tim Duncan. Those guys are rare, and, they only come around, once every 20 years or so.
That's what we're expecting, though.
Oh, man. Well, on that note, I'm going to go ahead and go to the car. But, no, I'm going to be myself, and I feel like they feel like the things that I can do, can, make me better, make this team better, and I think, we're going to help each other out. So I'm not trying to be those guys, I'm be myself.
Question for RC. You always hear around the league how respected the Spurs are as an organization from top to bottom, the players, the coaches, how you play. Is it kind of gratifying or vindicating on any level that, this isn't just, actions mean more than words, and to get a free agent of LaMarcus Aldridge's caliber when so many other teams were pursuing him?
That's not the reason why we do what we do. To have a person of the quality and the character of LaMarcus want to be a part of our organization says a lot about what Pop and our team has established and what they've stood for many years, and to be able to help build a team that LaMarcus wants to be a part of is the reason why we do what we do.
LaMarcus, in terms of like an X's and O's.
Oh, y'all the only two guys asking questions, or nobody else? But go ahead. Sorry.
It's like RC said about the ego, I guess. So. In terms of pure X's and O's, how do you think you fit with Tim, and especially both of you guys maybe would prefer not to do a lot of the kind of battling down in the paint at center. So how do you see that kind of partnership?
First, I see myself fitting in well. I think they've shown over the years that they can plug in any guy in this system and, have them perform at a high level. So I think my life is going to be easier, in this system. I'm going to get easier shots. I think Tim is going to help me and vice versa. So, I think my transition into the offense is going to be easy. I think, far as, Tim and I being similar, far as, guarding bigger guys, I feel like we're both very competitive. I feel like I've done it, he's done it. So I feel like, between, the both of us doing it at times.
Okay, just talk about how difficult it is to leave a market like Portland. How tough a decision that was.
It was tough because, I think having 9 years in one place, having roots in one place, and, being so embedded in that organization, in their history books, and in the culture, in the city, it was tough. That wasn't easy at all. And, I don't want to say it was. I have a lot of history there. I've loved those fans, for all 9 years. So, coming here, wasn't easy. And, even to the last day, it wasn't easy. And, I just had to, make my decision, on going forward and transitioning, into a new phase of my life.
LaMarcus, one of the most important business decisions you're going to make in your career. Could have gone to larger markets. There were a lot of media talk about maybe passing up endorsement opportunities. What sold you on the bottom line on San Antonio?
First of all, I'm a power forward. I mean, other than Blake Griffin and Anthony Davis, I don't see a lot of power forwards getting commercials and having that much money off the court. So I wouldn't say I passed up on anything like that. As far as big, a big market, I've never been the guy that just needed that. I've always been about winning and being in a good organization. And I don't see many organizations being better than this one.
LaMarcus, just about Bruce Bowen, your discussion with him to kind of give you his blessing for number 12. Talk about that.
I haven't actually talked to him yet. I would love to say I have. I've kind of been going, but after this, today, I'm going to call him and I'm going to thank him because he didn't have to do that. I'm very honored that he wanted to do that. I'm very honored that the organization, even called him to ask him to do it. So, he's loved here, and I don't want to cause any friction, by wearing his number. He gave me his blessing, and I'm very thankful for it because I was having a headache and I wasn't sleeping at night trying to pick my new number because I was going through numbers and it just wasn't fitting right. So I literally was not sleeping. So, for him to do that, it just shows, how great of a person he is.
LaMarcus, was there, in the decision-making process, was there ever a time where you thought maybe this wasn't the right decision to make? And the second part of
Next
the
question.
Second part is the moratorium, obviously, is a collectively bargained piece there. Would you like to see that changed when that comes up, or is it okay the way it is?
When you're making such a big decision, you're never going to, be 100% right away. And, as I said earlier, leaving the organization I was in for 9 years, and I've had roots, and, I'm embedded, in their history. When it's never easy to leave. So, it was moments where I did waver, on coming here because I was, leaving, and I was going out to something new. But, as I said, talking to RC more, talking to Pop more, those guys made me feel comfortable, and they made it feel like home, and they made me feel, safe to, take this leap of faith, and so far I've been fine with it.
Can you describe your meetings with Greg Popovich and how that kind of went? Did you know him at all before your meetings?
Yeah, I can describe it. You've seen TNT interviews, right? It was like that, but a little bit nicer. Pop isn't going to, tell you sweet stories or, try to, like, make up things. He's a very honest person. He's very caring, but he's not going to, sweet talk you. And, that came across, clear in the meeting. He had good things to say, but our meeting wasn't, an hour of him just, sweet talking me. It was basically just, talking basketball, and that was awesome. And I've known him, through the years. I've, had little jokes with him on the sideline, and he said things to me. So, we've, kind of known each other, but not as we do now.
When did you first know that? When did you first know that you were going to do it? That San Antonio was it?
That's tough because I went back and forth a lot, but I had an idea the night before I tweeted it. I was like, I'm just gonna go to sleep with it on my mind. First of all, when I even thought that it was a first, they were my first option. I called Portland and I told them I wasn't coming back. So, I talked to Neil, I talked to Paul Allen that night. Before I went to sleep, so I could have my mind at ease, and then I went to sleep that night thinking I was going to be a Spur. And when I woke up that morning, I was like, you know what, I still feel comfortable with it. I didn't freak out in the middle of the night. I didn't wake up screaming no. So, I ended up sticking with it.